What's up, River City? Welcome back to another Blazers post-game show. Tonight, the Blazers played against the Toronto Raptors at Moda Center on January 11th, 2021. The Blazers won by one. Score of 112 to 111. Top performers were CJ with 30, Dame with 23, and Carmelo Anthony with 20. Oh my goodness, that game should not have been close. The Blazers were picked apart in the first quarter and some of the second quarter. I'll get to that more, but I was not happy watching this game. I'm happy we won, but I was not exactly thrilled, to say the least. So, first things first, Yusuf Nurkic went out in the game in the first quarter with a left quad contusion. I don't know the severity of it. He was questionable to return to the game, so he wasn't out, which was good. He wasn't immediately ruled out. But the fact that he didn't return to the game is never a good sign. You know, Nurk's been battling some injuries, and he was starting to play pretty well. I've been pretty positive about him in the previous couple post games. So my points last video for this game were to try and stop Van Vliet and Siakam and Lowry. I don't know if I mentioned Lowry by name, but him as well. At least in the first half, the Blazers did not do that. Pascal Siakam, I believe he had plus 10 points in the first quarter. He had over 9 rebounds and 5 assists in the first quarter alone. So he almost had a triple-double in the first quarter alone, which is pathetic. I was very, very frustrated about the amount of times that you'd have Dame or CJ switched on to Pascal Siakam, who's a small forward, power forward, and likes to work in the post, similar to Carmelo Anthony. And just leaving him there on the island really frustrated me because I'm surprised they didn't get more fouls, because it's not being able to foul against a big guy, they're going to get a lot of easy shots. And so the defensive rotations, I'll probably harp on that later, but it was very frustrating to watch, especially in the first quarter. They did clean it up towards the end of the second and the fourth, but it was frustrating to watch. It was really frustrating to watch. Drop coverage, especially against the duo of Van Vliet or Lowry and Chris Boucher from Oregon. It didn't work. It didn't work at all, especially against Cantor, who is a slower-footed big. I think Cantor did pretty well with the minutes he was given, but I don't think he should have been put in that situation at all. He's very strong and he's a good offensive rebounder and he's great around the basket, but if you ask him to defend in space, that's not what he's good at. That's not why we signed him. And I think that was a mistake, especially against Chris Boucher, who went 5 of 8 from 3, I believe. And I know he missed a couple towards the end of the game, but in the beginning, we had Cantor playing at the free throw line. And when Lowry or Van Vliet's defender would get screened by Boucher, he just passed the ball back to Boucher, who would just launch up a three. And I think that's what caused the Blazers to be stuck in a hole for so long. It was just very frustrating to watch. The ball movement tonight, I've been harping on this for the last couple games. It's been pretty good. Tonight it was decent. There'd be times where the ball was moving pretty well, and then there were times where it would just be stagnant one-on-ones the whole time. And it's just frustrating to watch because there's so much offense on this team. I know that Robert Covington struggled tonight from shooting, and for most of the game, this won't be reported elsewhere, I believe, but Carmelo Anthony struggled tonight. Towards the end of the fourth, he really picked up and shot the ball pretty well, but up until then, I believe at one point he was 1 for 7. And I mean, I'm very happy that he was able to turn it around and shoot pretty well at the end of the game, but it was so frustrating to watch. Let's see. So just to end the half, I have to say great hustle, especially by Dame to get that ball off save the ball on the way out, and then Derrick Jones Jr. to jump up and get it. That was a really good hustle to see, and the ability to get back into the game, Robert Covington getting Enes Kanter's missed free throw and getting fouled on the way back up, that made it tight. I think it gave the Blazers a little momentum going into halftime, even if it didn't show. All right, so this isn't a critique on the players per se. I think Giles deserved more minutes. Harry Giles I think he got about 5 to 6 minutes tonight. He should have gotten more. I think his matchup against Boucher especially would have been better. I think he's a lot stronger. I don't know if he's quite as quick, But I think that he would have fared a lot better in the kind of operations that the Raptors were trying to run. They were trying to run five out, and then trying to draw mismatches onto Dame or CJ in the post. And when that wouldn't work, they just get the offensive rebound because Carmelo Anthony and Robert Covington weren't able to get the rebounds. But if they were able to put Harry Giles in there, I think that would have been a lot better. Rotational issues again. Keeping Cantor in there for the whole first half. The Blazers would go on a run, and then the Raptors would just hit threes because Cantor couldn't get out there quick enough, or Melo wouldn't rotate quick enough. Lots of defensive issues tonight. The biggest thing that I was frustrated about in this game was the defensive rotation. When one player helps to get another, the other players wouldn't rotate until they get a wide open three. I know Davis hit a couple in the corner, and Boucher had a couple, and OG Anunoby hit like 8 points in a row, and it was really frustrating to watch. But props to him. He hit the shots. Granted, I don't think we contested many of them, but he had a really good lay-in the first quarter. But other than that, I think most of his points were pretty open. And just the defensive rotation, and I know Robert Covington got backdoor cutted a couple times, and Melo was just caught watching the play instead of fighting for rebounds or going to get the ball on defense. And it was just really, really frustrating to watch. There's questionable reffing tonight on both sides. The Blazers, I know Dame felt like he missed a couple calls. Melo felt like he missed a couple calls. But in a game like that, you just got to go play the rest of the game because everyone else sees it. If you just stop and look at the ref, you're leaving your team at a disadvantage because they're not going to stop the game so you can talk to them. And I know that led to a Robert Covington foul because I don't remember if it was Melo or Dame felt like they had been fouled. And it just it put the rest of the team in jeopardy on that play and cost them 2 points, which really could have come back to bite them in the butt at the end, being only able to win by 1. I just really think that tonight the Blazers could have played a lot better. I think that the coaching could have been a lot better, and I think the defensive schemes could have been a lot better. I believe that if Giles had got more minutes and Carmelo Anthony hadn't got or even Robert Covington didn't get quite as many minutes, I believe that the Blazers would have been a lot better off because they would have had a lot less second chance points on the Raptors, and it just would have had a better flow. Harry Giles, when he comes in, he brings the energy, and he has the ability to guard the quicker. Like 2 plays in the game, 2 plays that really stuck out to me was 2 in a row. You had Dame guarding Pascal Siakam and Cantor on the perimeter guarding Lowry and Van Vliet. That's never a recipe for success. Having your star point guard guarding their star power forward. And granted, he's not a terrible post defender, but that's not what you want as a Blazers fan. You want Cantor on the block guarding the center, not Cantor on the three-point line guarding one of the quicker guards and better passers in the league. Blazers did get quite a few steals, but I think that's more on the Raptors than it was on the Blazers. I saw a lot of passes that went right to Robert Covington or right to Carmelo Anthony. Really good on them to catch it, and they normally were able to do some stuff with it. But it was just frustrating. There didn't seem to be much offensive coercion until the end. I believe they shot 60% in the fourth quarter, which was good to see. I'm always happy to get a win. But it was just frustrating, because you're watching the game and you're like, why is Ennis still in the game when they're playing 4 or 5 out? And Ennis isn't a good perimeter defender. He's not quick enough. He did finish with, I believe, 12 and shot pretty efficiently. I think he was 6 for 8, or I think he missed 1 the entire game, which is really good for him. But I don't think he was put in a position to succeed, and it was just kind of sad to watch. I think that Nick Nurse outcoached Terry Stotts tonight, and it almost cost the Blazers a game. Luckily, the Blazers have some great scorers like Dame, CJ, and Carmelo even though I kind of harp on him. He's a great scorer. I've never said he wasn't a good scorer. I just think that he had some pretty inefficient shots in the beginning of the game, and I'm really happy it came around for him, and I'm happy they went in, especially at the end of the game. Eye test award goes to CJ McCollum. I was really tempted to put it between Dame or CJ, but Dame had quite a few turnovers tonight. And CJ, he was just pretty constant. He had 30 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds on 10 of 19 from the field, and 5 of 11 from 3. That's just efficient basketball, and he had that really nice shot at the end to seal the win for the Blazers. as well as gotta give a shout out to Robert Covington. Pretty good defense on Pascal Siakam, who's not an easy player to stop on the block. And getting that out of the way, I'm just hoping the Blazers in the future will rotate better on defense and just stop the back cuts. I know that there was a couple tonight, very frustrating, and I've said that already, but it's just really, really frustrating to watch. Moving on to some things more positive, Blazers play against Sacramento for the third time, I believe. They like to keep it up in the Pacific Northwest, apparently. The keys for the game against Sacramento, I believe, are the transition defense. The Kings love to get out and push, especially with De'Aaron Fox's speed and Halliburton, who's one of the rookies that have really come on for them as of late. He's a great passer, and he's a good three-point shooter, similar to Buddy Hield, who could go off at any night. But I think that Tyrese Halliburton is going to take a lot more shots than Buddy Hield, so I'd say focus on him and De'Aaron Fox. And Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley is probably their best player. Very athletic, big man who can hit a decent three. So keep an eye on all three of them. And I believe if you can keep them under 15 points each, I'd say you're going to be able to win that game. Just keep an eye on Bagley, Fox, and Halliburton, and try and keep them under 15. And keep an eye on Buddy Hield, because if you give him open looks, he'll probably knock him down. And then for the Blazers, really work on that defensive rotation and really work on the rotation, man rotation. Keep the players fresh. Dame played 40 minutes tonight, and in a 48-minute game, you don't want that, because if you have Dame play 40 minutes a game, granted, against Sacramento, he only played, I believe, 28. So it's not like he's over the average as he always is, but if you have to rely on Dame and CJ every single game, they're going to be very burnt out come playoff time. So hopefully the Sacramento Kings game is a little bit happier, and I'm just happy to be here. If you like Blazers content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I do post-game shows on almost every Blazers game, and I was doing Seahawks games, but everyone saw how that worked out. I was a little too frustrated to do a post-game on that one. So thanks for watching. Peace out. Go Blazers.